Hi guys, Veldrin here. Today I'm bringing you the final game from the regional championship in Copenhagen, Denmark. And as with the previous two, the games with the cut, it's not me commentating, it's Paul Erik Holmlund, and today he is joined by Klaus Stahl as well. And they are commentating on the final between Rasmus Svensson and me. So I hope you enjoy this.
Welcome back to the streaming of this final of the Swedish regional, I should say. No, this is the Copenhagen regional here in Denmark, but in the final we have two Swedes who made all the way through. One of them will be Christopher Bengtsson. He made it all the way through the 6 rounds yesterday undefeated and went into today and have won 2 games now and is up in the final. And in the final he meets Rasmus, also from Sweden. And both of them will be fielding a lot of defenders. Christopher is fielding a list consisting of 3 defenders. One of them will be a Delta Squadron pilot with the Thai X7 saddle. Then there's Countess Riot with Push to Limit, Twin Iron Engine, Mark II, Thai X7 title. And there's Colonel Vessery with Duke and the Thai X7 title. Comes in at a total of 99 points. And on the other side of the table we have Rasmus Svensson with Colonel Vessery, which is identical to the one just named. Countess Riot, which is identical to the one I just named. And then we have the Omicron group pilot with the Emperor and a collision detector. So that's what we are going to see square off today. Please, if you have any questions, ask them in the chat and I'll do my best to give an answer as soon as possible. Sometimes in writing, sometimes I'll just blurt it out. If there's something with the mic or the audio, please let me know, then I'll try to see if I can fix it as we are running. And this final will of course follow the rules laid out by FFG, and this means that we have a 2-hour timed final. I imagine that with 5 defenders on the table, this will be a match with a lot of K turns for 2 hours, and then we'll go to final salvo and resolving it there. So see you back in 2 hours for the final roll-off. No, the players are lining up, and I do believe I've got the names in the right places. I do indeed. I won't be typing out the lists on the screen because it blocks too much of the view. And I've kindly asked the players to make sure that they try to square off dice so we have a chance of seeing what happens. They'll also remove shields and show them to us and try to do the same with damage. So I'll try to keep you as well updated as possible. Let's see what happens. We're watching the players set up here with the asteroids, and it looks like we have a very wide open part of the board in the lower left corner, and there's a couple of good lanes for the defenders to fly into. We see Rasmus placing his Lambda in the upper left corner. Rasmus is fielding 100 points exactly. So Christopher has given him the initiative, it looks like. I think. Yes, he's placing up first. Christopher is throwing up two defenders right behind each other. And Rasmus is fielding his right next to each other. And for Francesco, I haven't typed out the lists, but I can do that if you need me to. Basically, those are the lists. The Delta X7 Countess Ryan and Colonel Vessery is Christopher Bengtson's list, and the Countess Ryan, Colonel Vessery, and Lambda with the Emperor is Rasmus's list. So I hope that makes sense. Despite my typos, I spelled the names wrong. Should have it. And I'll emphasize once again that this is only Christopher Bengtson's account, but it's me, Paul Ekolmellen, speaking. So if I'm politically incorrect, and I will be, then please don't blame poor Christopher for it. We see Christopher with an opening where he turns away from the initial placement, stresses himself out in the start and trying to leave that otherwise held on joust. And I'll have to go convince them to play on the lower side of the field so we can see what's going on. It's going to be interesting to see how much Rasmus will include the Lambda in the fight. If he leaves it out for too long, it could end up being 3 defenders versus 2, and then only having Palpatine back up with the dice manipulation. But this is 2 great players we have here, so I'm sure they will pull out some of the unexpected tricks from the playbook. And for those who might be slightly new to the game, let's give a short introduction. The defenders are all equipped with the TIE X7 title, which means that whenever they dial in a maneuver with a speed of 3, 4 or 5, they will get a free evade token, and they don't need to complete the maneuver, they just have to dial it in. So even if they bump or are stressed, they will still get their free evade token every single turn as long as they move 3, 4, 5. This of course makes the defender pretty hard to shoot down. And on top of that we have Colonel Resery, with his specialty that allows him to use other ships' target lock. So as long as there's a target lock on a ship, Colonel Resery will count as having one as well. Then we have Countess Riot. Her special ability lets her decide on any straight maneuver whether or not she wants to turn it into a K-turn. So she has a wide range of movement there. And I don't think really that the Emperor requires much explanation. The Emperor in the Lambda allows him to manipulate the dice once per turn. It can be any of his own dice rolled, an attack or defense die, and he can change it to whatever result he likes. So on one side Rasmus has given up maneuverability for having dice manipulation to protect his defenders and maybe push that extra crit through whenever it's convenient. And Christopher have opted for sheer mobility and firepower in a sleek package. And it's going to be interesting to see how they are going to manage this engagement. There'll be no shooting this round, all of them are out, so clean up and back to dials. And I won't even begin to speculate about how they're going to resolve this, because both of them are obviously far better players than I am. But I'm really looking forward to see how they will fight this one off. It's two very, very defensive builds, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually push damage through on each other. But if one of them really pulls something clever off, there's always the chance of having a full list firing against maybe one of the ships and being able to force through something. So let's see what happens. And we see here the magnificent white space cow moving slowly along, grazing in space. It's not often you see the Lambda that far away from its deployment zone, usually hiding behind a rock to avoid jeopardizing the Emperor's health. And getting the Emperor that far ahead might actually provoke Christopher into turning around and fully engaging and focusing on taking the Emperor out of the fight. With 3 defenders firing on it, it could potentially be a very, very quick kill. Very precise maneuvers from both of the gentlemen here. And they are flying nicely alongside each other. It's almost like a tilt. You have the barrier in the middle, and then you have the knights on each side. So this looks like it's almost looked like a joust at a tournament scene. And no fire again in this round. So back to dice again. And now things are really starting to open up. Who's going to read this matchup correctly and get the advantage in the final round? And I imagine both players will be using their new beautiful set of dice, the new sparkly see-through dice. Actually quite beautiful and far easier to read than last year's regional, the so-called GIS dice, which are in the wrong lighting really hard to read. But these should be easier to see. We can almost make them out here on the screen, but not always entirely. But I've kindly asked the players to try to square them off so we have a chance of seeing what they roll. And of course, with 2 hours playtime to play out this final, I think we'll have more than enough time to actually take the time to more or less guide us through their rolls and what shields and damage is lost. But I'll try to keep track here as well and can update as necessary. And any input, thoughts or questions, please type them in the chat and I'll try to comment on them if needed. Christopher turning into the... Now it's going to be interesting to see what Rasmus has planned out. Because this could potentially be Vessery taking the full attack of both the other colonel and countess. Or no, Rasmus barrel rolling into range 1 of Colonel Vessery, and at the same time probably takes him out of arc of Colonel Vessery. Of course, this just means that if Christopher has turned in the hard bag 3 on the 2 other defenders, the countess herself will lead 2 attacks. So let's see what happens here. Switches the target lock, stresses. Of course, using push the limit. Yes, of course, Emil, that's me. It's the Delta, it's not Vessery, it's me mixing the 2 ships up because they're identical, my bad. Thank you for correcting me on that one. That's the problem with the identical ships. So this could be a pawn for queen switch. The Delta pilot being the pawn and Christopher is sacrificing it to maybe get the queen and the guys of the counters out of the game. Let's see how the dice will fare in this roll-off. We have Colonel Vessery starting firing on the Delta, range 2 shot. Looks like one hit, two focus, and turns them into hit crit, I think. Followed by evade. This one was duped. And Christopher spends all of his tokens and is now defenseless against this shot, which will follow up soon. Now Christopher's Colonel Vessery will engage range 1 on the counters. Spends a target lock for a reroll, doesn't hit, 3 hits. And dukes one of them. And Rasmus will have to spend his evade token, will spend the Emperor, and that pushes 1 shield damage through, so Rasmus has lost a shield on his counters. Now for the other counters against the Delta. That's 2 hits, spends his target lock. Rerolls into 2 new eyeballs, so 2 hits against the defenseless. Not so defenseless yet. Somebody had to shake to the camera there. It looks fine still. Only 1 evade, so it looks like there will be 1 shield off the Delta as well. Riot will attack Riot then, range 1. And spends a focus for 4 massive hits. And it looks like Rasmus more or less blanks out there. So he's losing 2 more shields and takes this first damage. Christopher really came out ahead in that engagement. Counters right down to 2 hull for Rasmus. And the Delta Squadron only losing a single shield. So absolutely the best engagement for Christopher here. And you could say that pawn sacrifice really worked out for Christopher. And I can see that we just got bombed about 10 people watching since last I checked the numbers. If you have any questions or comments, please write them in the chat commentary and I'll do my best to address them as we play along. And of course it's not Christopher commentating, since I'm borrowing his account to do this. I don't think the Delta has an arc on Vessery. So I think that's why it didn't shoot Victor. I could be wrong, but I think that both players agreed that there was no arc. It's a little hard to see the angles in the screen because it's slightly offset, the camera. But maybe we should get a commentary on that after the game if they agreed there was no shot or not. But I think there was no angle. Now as Rasmus is plotting his way out of this, what can he do to save Riot from going up in flames? course now the lambda will come into firing range as well. And of course the lambda, while bringing it into harm's way, can be dangerous with the Emperor. It's still a potent attack ship with its 3 red dice on the attack, and unless it's dreads to get bombs, it also has access to both target and focus, so potentially it's just as nasty as a standard defender on attack. And of course with the Emperor supporting it, there's always the risk of getting a nasty crit thrown into your face. And the Angel Space Cow doesn't bump, so setting itself up for an attack on the Delta, trying to take that one out of the picture. So Rasmus has committed himself to killing that one off. While his Riot tries to disengage, tries to nurse her wounds. And of course, because of the twin iron engine Mark II, he's able to clear his stresses even while using bangs. Otherwise he would be locked into only clearing stress on straight maneuvers. Signature move for the defender, 4K. And with these two lists, the game is really locked into a game of degrees, 45 and 90 degrees, with 180 degrees, of course. None of them were really offset in their setup, so you could more or less type lines on the board and then decide where the ships are going. And please let me know if there's any problem with the audio. I'll try to correct it. I heard a complaint earlier that it's a little on the low side, but I can adjust the mic if it's a problem to listen to. Christopher removing himself as much as possible from that potential shot from the Colonel, and trying to line up to have a shot at right without clipping the rock if possible. And that has got to be the most beautiful lined up barrel roll range one shot. Vessery K turning directly in front of the Countess. And now the question is whether Christopher will switch target or pursued a plan of killing off the other counters there. But no, it looks like Christopher really managed to build himself a shooting tent, and Rasmus's colonel flew directly into it. Of course, he did so at the cost of flying over a rock, and I couldn't see whether or not he lost a shield there. Just let me check. And the players confirmed that he did indeed lose his shield from flying over the rock. So, and now he gets and Rasmus is keeping focus on that delta, throwing in one hit and what crit looks like, and of course during that one. And Christopher spends his focus and ends up evading the entire attack from the colonel. Now Christopher's colonel will turn the favor, firing into Rasmus's colonel, and apparently blanking out on that shot. And since there's no target lock on, he can't reroll that. And now Rasmus has no shot with his own riot. And here we see Christopher throwing 3 hits. And it looks like Rasmus managed to evade all of that damage with a spendage of a single evade token. And now his last attack from the Lambda, 3 natural hits. And that was the last 2 shields off the Delta. And the Delta fires into Reservoir, it seems like, 2 hits. And blanks out the defense entirely. And he will spend Palpatine to negate one of those. And take off a shield of Colonel Reservoir. So the status after this round of shooting is that Christopher Bengtsson has... Let's see, I made a mistake here. Give me a second to rectify it. It looks like, if my notes are right, that Christopher Bengtsson has lost a shield on his Colonel Vesry by hitting a rock, and he also lost 3 shields on his Delta Squadron. And Rasmus has lost 2 shields on his Colonel Vesry, as well as taking 2 damage to his hull on the Countess Riot. I've just been joined by Klaus Stoll. Klaus made it to the top 8 today as well, but was unfortunately defeated by Christopher actually.
That was very unfortunate indeed.
Yes, so which is the reason we have 2 Swedes in the final. And I'll repeat it, we really need stricter border control in Denmark.
Yeah, they came here and took our regionals away from us.
Yeah, very not. We were trying to be good hosts and, you know, letting the retard neighbor join the party, and then he just spoils it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll of course have to emphasize once again that all of the political incorrect statements are made by Paul Erik Holmelund. Christopher is not speaking in the mic, so don't blame him. It's just his account I'm using.
So it's not Christopher who's speaking badly about Swedes. That's very surprising.
Actually, yes, indeed.
All right.
Okay, dials are being set now, and so far Christopher is slightly in the lead, and
Yeah.
Rasmus has been forced to take out his counters of the fight.
Yeah, and she's down to 2 hull.
No, she's down to 1 hole, I think. On this, no, down to 2 hole. Yes.
Yeah, she's down to 2.
So
So
she's bleeding.
yeah, and took a shield off Vesry here. Rasmus, he had a very unfortunate fly-in. He got sort of caught in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that Rasmus, he had expected to do more damage on the delta. It was
Absolutely.
very clear that he was going all in on the delta.
And Christopher put up that queen gambit or pawn gambit really well. It was very clear to see that he was setting up his delta to be the shooting target, and then was opting to take out counters instead, which would have been a great switch. And this is what had happened so far, that the counters has actually taken more damage than the pawn he was trying to sacrifice.
Yeah,
so he came out winning of that encounter.
But now Rasmus, he has a lot of thinking to do concerning his shuttle.
Absolutely.
Because he can, of course, he can do a full stop now with the shuttle, but it won't take long before he has defenders behind him.
No.
Could end up horrible for him.
Could indeed. And the problem with the shuttle right now is, of course, that it also is in a position where it's starting to block his own reservoir.
Yeah.
So
I think we should expect to see a 4K from Rasmus Vesry standing in front of the shuttle to give it another round of full stops, maybe.
That seems like a good option, yes.
And
will open give him a pretty good killing field right in front of him, where you don't want to be for Christopher.
But it might also be that the delta will do a 3 hard towards the shuttle, maybe, and that could block Vesry's 4K.
Yeah, he might even do a 1 or 2K to be.
But what will have the counters doing? Rasmus counters doing a 2K maybe. 3K?
3K and 3 because she doesn't have 2. She's not Juno.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But that either that or taking the 3 turn to try to get around, but she will be out of the fight for too long.
Yeah, don't you think he will do 3K just to be sure that he
has a firing solution if he flies that way? Yeah, I think
exactly.
so. Absolutely. And we have Mads Bachmann saying here that Christopher isn't really a Swede, he's ours. And you could actually argue that Christopher doesn't really have a nationality. I mean, the British adopted him as well in their squadron. So
yeah, it's the T-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what he's been saying all weekend. It's the T-shirt.
It's the T-shirt doing it.
Yeah.
And this is more or less an inside joke. Christopher is wearing a T-shirt from 186th Squadron, which is a bunch of UK guys, and they actually show up over here in Denmark and Sweden for tournaments often, and always give a good showing of themselves. Really, really nice and competent players. And sometimes Christopher plays for them, and they've more or less adopted him and given him a T-shirt.
Yeah,
so he plays for England, and he plays for Sweden, and then he comes to Denmark and spanks all of us.
Apparently so. Goddamn T-shirt.
There's a lot of hard thinking going on right now.
Yeah, but it's
this is a crucial turn.
Yeah, it's very, very crucial. Let's see, he has no shields on the delta, right?
No shields. He's down to just hull.
Yeah.
So the delta might very well go up in flame in this turn. And that's okay if he can get the counters on Rasmus' side out of the way.
It's been really a defender heavy meta this regionals.
Absolutely, lots and lots of defenders.
Let's see, what's the delta doing? He's chasing.
He's
down
chasing.
Weird.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, no.
If you can kill her off
and get some distance between the shuttle and himself.
and potentially the
Right,
Colonel as well.
Yeah. So do you think we should expect to see maybe a 3K from Vessery, Christopher's Vessery, to follow up on the move on Weird to get as many shots as possible?
Yeah, probably. And then is there room for 1, 2, 3,
Could
maybe
even
just
be
a
a-
4-4 forward from his own counters?
Could even be a 5 and then K turning it to see where he's going. It was
Yeah.
a 3K he
Or
did.
3K, yeah, as
I,
expected.
I think we'll see a 5K in the barrel roll maybe from
5K in a barrel roll?
yeah, could be.
I don't think it. I think if you're gonna do something, it should be 4 or 5 straight, and then
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe you're right. It just limits his possibilities a bit in the next round.
straightforward. But will he
It
use
is
it
a
as a
5.
K? Oh, that's a. Oh, but he's no, it's on the outside, so it's not kissing the ground.
No. But it is a straight and he can barrel roll into position.
Yeah.
That does.
Unless he thinks he has an arc, he doesn't. So he's barrel rolling into position and getting a range. It's a little hard to see here, but I do believe he's getting into a range one shot.
Yeah.
So a delta and the counters firing.
And then we will definitely see a 3 hard turn from Christopher's Vessery and a 4K from.
Yeah.
Now it's of course crucial that that Rasmus is able to take down the delta in this round to avoid having 3 ships shooting on.
Yes,
on Weird.
absolutely. Let's see if it's a 3 hard or it's. No, it's the K turn, the 4K.
Okay, that was interesting.
And I do believe Christopher might be doing this to not, fully commit himself so much that he's out of the fight for a round. So it makes sense.
So he's contemplating now if he's going to take the evade. Then he
barrel rolled.
Yeah. So he gets the evade from the 4K and then barrel rolls to the side.
Yeah, and that takes him entirely out of the range of the Lambda for sure, and maybe even of the other Colonel.
But will he be able? I don't think
I
he
think
will get a shot.
he doesn't have the angle. Even distorted view here, I don't think the angle is there. But it opens up the next turn very well.
Oh, and he'll be able to hunt down Weird more effectively.
Let's see. The Colonel opening up on the Delta.
Is that
With, I think it's a hit and a crit, and then he uses the focus. So 2 hits and a crit. And those dice are impossible to see from this distance.
Focus.
Because he spends a focus. And thank you guys for lining up. And that means that he just negated that entire attack by a spending of a focus. So he still has the evade token and only has to survive 2 more rounds of shooting. Let's see. The Colonel has a range 3 shot to the other Colonel.
That's Vessery and Vessery.
We have to rename one of them to Colonel Sanders.
True. And Vessery
evades it 1, evades 2, and even with the Duke.
Yeah, still had 1 extra evade.
Yeah, so no damage there.
Then there's Weird on the Delta, maybe.
Rasmus more or less has to try concentrating on getting that Delta out of the game to avoid too much fire. He makes 2 hits and it spends a target lock, yes.
It's 2 hits. He has an evade token. He rolls. What?
It's hard to see, but plenty of evades.
Plenty of evades.
Yes. Plenty and then some.
That means that it all comes down to
the attack shuttle with the Emperor.
Yeah.
Okay, now Christopher attacks with his riot. Spends a target lock.
4 hits.
4 hits.
No, 2 hits. What is this?
Oh no, that's 4 hits.
4 hits with a focus.
And the target lock spent. And Riot comes out of this free. He spends both the focus and evade.
That's insane.
Absolutely.
The defenders tokened up.
And with the support of Palpatine, they are hard to bite through.
Yeah.
But this is really a key moment, or could be. Because now Riot is tokenless.
Target lock.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's using on the Delta. He rolls
Only
just
one.
And did he spend the Emperor yet?
No, he hasn't, but I think he's saving that as defense.
Yeah, of course the Delta is going to shoot back. So there's one hit. There's one evade token. No, just one hit.
No, he spent the evade token to change it. And the range shot from the... So will the lonely Delta pilot be able to defeat her? Zero hits. Nothing.
Oh.
So Riot escapes a potentially really nasty round for her?
Riot came out of that pretty well.
Absolutely. Didn't lose any of the last two hull. But then again, Christopher didn't lose anything in this bout of shooting either, so lots of dice rolled.
Let's see, the angle is a bit weird here, but can the Delta, do you think he's going to risk the Delta by doing a 4K through the stone, or will he maybe do the one turn, just to see if he can block Riot on her way out?
Yeah, it's Christopher, and he sometimes does, the unexpected, but things that make sense. And doing the 4K could make sense here.
Yeah.
Because despite taking the damage over the rock, it will probably also take him entirely out of harm's way from the shuttle and the Colonel. So if there's room for it, and I'm not sure if there is or not, but if there is, it would make sense.
Now the interesting thing is if Rasmus is going to do a bump with the shuttle to keep it in place, or he's actually going to commit it further into the fight by maybe doing a 2 forward. Because a 2 forward could be potentially blocking
the other Colonel.
Yeah, Vesri when Vesri is coming out. So you could do a 4 and a 4 forward with Vesri. Or I don't know. It's a bit difficult.
Yeah, and it's an interesting round. It looks like Christopher's counters can do a 3K turn.
Yeah, I think that.
And that leaves her in an okay place.
Yeah.
And with the barrel roll, she can position herself to be basically where she needs to. The big question is really what happens with the Delta. Because as far as I can see, basically the only maneuver she can do, like he can do without running over the rock with the template is the hard ones. It looks like everything else will make him kiss the rock, and if that is the case, then you might as well take the 4K and...
that's true. But of course, unless Vesri turns in with the 3 hearts towards the middle of the board, he will also need to make space for Vesri's straight move. And unless Vesri is, of course, is going out, but Vesri has to hunt down Riot.
Christoph is more or less committed to, unless he... No, he can't do that.
It could be from the Delta a 4K, a 3K from Christopher's Riot, and 3 straightforward from Vesri.
Yeah.
And to set up a trap, but on the other hand, then you could also have...
but you could have Rosus running away to the left.
She could do a 3 to the left.
And this is why the very simple game of X-Wing is complicated.
No, definitely.
And that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing game. The core mechanics of the game is just beautiful. Let's see here. We have dials almost set. Vesri is missing, and then I think they are maybe good to go.
Yeah.
I think it would be beautiful
There we are.
if he committed the shuttle. I've seen Rasmus a few games during the regionals, and he's very good at bringing Palpatine actively into the.
I did that in the last regional where I went into top 8. I used the shuttle very offensively.
Yeah.
And offensively, it's a defender. It has 3 attack, it has the focus, it has the target lock, and it can really dish out the pain. And since it's usually shooting as the last ship,
let's see, he took the Delta.
The asteroid. Yeah, and he couldn't avoid it. The question was only where he was going. He doesn't take damage from it. And of course gets his complementary evade token.
And he did choose the bump for the shuttle just to keep it in place a bit longer. Question is then...
Which makes sense because he still has a very wide open firing lane for it.
And once it's out of the game,
it's entirely out of the game.
Out of the game. With the defenders, it's never going to get back into the game. So
not at all. Not at all.
So
he only has one shot.
Having it stay as put as possible for as long as possible is definitely.
Right, makes her 5k turn.
Now she's blocking Vesiry's 4.
Yep, if that's what he's aiming to do, then she just blocked Christopher.
Unless, of course, he's tricky and he already knew. Let's see.
But still turning, if he turns in left, he's opened himself up to shots from 2 ships. He could make the hard 3 and maybe avoiding that rock, but I wouldn't count on it.
Could also be if Rasmus Vesry right in front of the shuttle, if it goes 3 forward, it's also a really nasty trap for Vesry to jump into.
Absolutely. This is really a great final.
Yeah, it is. It's been very intense because, of course, with defender list, you never know. Sometimes defender list they K-turn back and forth and.
Yeah, we saw a bit of that in the last game where Rasmus was keeping his ships in the lower left corner and basically just K-turned back and forth until the opening was there, and then he just pounced upon Casper's Y-wings.
It's a short 2-turn, no?
It looks like it. Yes, of course, it does have the 2 forward.
Yeah. He was contemplating whether or not the 3-turn could be there.
And it would have been very tight. I don't think it would have been that 3, but
maybe a bit risky.
But it makes a lot of sense.
You don't risk your.
The question is whether or not he wants to barrel back. He didn't.
No.
He could have barreled back to open up for if he wanted to bank in next turn. But he might actually open it up for running the other way around.
Did he bump? He bumped.
He actually did.
So that's
now
focus for Vesely.
But of course he can still use the target lock that Riot offers. Now the real big question is, what will Christopher do with his Vessery?
No, he didn't bump.
He didn't bump?
No.
Okay.
That was very tight in front.
No,
what is he doing?
He's bumping.
He's bumping.
He's just putting a 3 forward.
But that means actually that his Vessery... No, it looks like he's going to pass Vessery, no?
No, I think he's bumping Vessery. Yeah. It's a bump and Vessery.
Okay.
So
that's a range 1 shot and
absolutely.
That wasn't too shabby.
But it will be entirely unmodified. There's no target. Is there a target lock on?
Yes.
There's a cardboard one right behind there.
Riot has a target lock.
So there is actually But let's see. Vessery first. 3 dice against Riot, or
is he shooting
is it the
Riot?
Delta? It's not. It's hard to see, really.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see.
So spending the focus, getting 3 hits.
And he has juke on Vessery.
He does indeed.
No,
and
he's shooting on Riot.
He's shooting on Riot, and now he gets his target lock and doesn't even have to spend it. So Riot is taking
that's 3 and
3, and one is juke and spend her evade token. So escapes the first shot. And then we have the other colonel shooting at the other Countess Riot.
Yeah. Range 1?
Absolutely.
He has 4 hits.
That looks like a very nice roll for him. 4 hits.
It looks
and
like
juke 1.
So he will need to spend both and use the Emperor maybe.
He will have to spend the Emperor, otherwise he's still 2 damage.
Now he's he took Emperor for 0 damage, right? He evaded 4.
Yeah, then he evaded 4. And that's the beautiful of defenders and the Emperor. Getting damage to stick is hard. And
range 2 shots from rear.
Yep. That's
Spanish outlaw, nothing. And 3.
and into 3. And you really love your target lock when it does that.
Yeah. And rear comes up with all folk, 2 folks and an evade. So she takes a
She
hit.
actually takes a damage. So that's Christopher's.
Reared, that's down to 2.
Lambda taking a shot. We think we might have miscalculated some of the damage, so we're sending Klaus out to check on the table. Let's see what the real damage is at this moment. But definitely a very interesting game now. And we have a botched attack roll there as well. So back to dials again. Rasmus was pretty quick to decide what he wanted to do with his shuttle, so that's probably a full stop. And I'm going to look at damage and see how the situation is, and then I'll be back with voice in a minute. Okay, we have the damage update right now. At the moment, Christopher Bengtsson has taken 3 shield damage to his Delta Squadron, and he has taken 1 shield damage to his Colonel Vessery, and his Countess Ryan has lost 2 shields. On the other side of the table, Rasmus has lost 0 on the Omicron, only has 2 hull left on Countess Riot, and has lost 1 shield on his Colonel Vessery. So things are still very much in the game.
So they have set their dials.
Yeah, and this round was decided much quicker than before.
It's going to be 3 hard from rear. I think that that Christopher, he really needs to think about taking out the shuttle maybe.
Yeah, and I think the shuttle is going to be in a position soon where he can actually, power around and get there. Because if he's able to run with his entire list down towards the left angle and around, it might actually be a viable option to burn it. And he's doing a 1 forward with the shuttle.
Also because you've seen how Palpatine is just keeping Reard alive.
Absolutely.
I mean, unless he gets 3 shots on 3 good shots, it's almost impossible for him to kill.
It's hard to make it stick. And she's made of Teflon. Those damage cards just doesn't want to stick there.
Alright, let's see, what do we have? We have a Vessery.
We have a clusterfuck.
Yeah, we have a clusterfuck. Defenders everywhere.
Yeah. But probably either a 5 forward to get behind, or the 4K with Christophers. He counters, and naturally 3K turn. Clears the stress, is fully operational again.
Was he K turned there, Rasmus?
Yep.
There was a 3K with...
That was a 3K,
yeah.
yes, with his counters. And then he hopes that the other counters will land straight in front of him, because he's targeting up on her. So let's see if he goes on.
Is he 3 banking?
Yeah, I think he would 3 bank to the left, yep. To clear the stress and get around. Absolutely. And then we might very well see him go the other way around to actually gang up on that shot.
Yeah. Just 3 turn in.
Or what?
With
Three
the
turn
delta
in,
and
yeah.
with weird.
No, the delta already moved.
Yeah, no, but I mean...
Yeah, the next time, yeah. And you know, that's one of the things the top players are able to do that most rookies don't do. As a rookie, you will often, you will set your eye on a target and you'll keep focusing on, and then you will forget that you can adjust your plan during the game.
Yeah, just switch target.
And we might see Christopher actually switching target. Now, of course, it makes sense to focus fire one target down until the start of the game. But Christopher has probably noticed here that what's keeping the other riot in the game is Palpatine just keeping adding that one evade that he needs. So now it looks like he's adjusting and say, fuck it, I'm gonna kill that shuttle.
Oh, he's doing 1 bank with the vessel.
What was Rasmus doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do believe that Rasmus was expecting something else from Christopher's riot.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he has a 4K there.
No.
For the next turn.
No. I don't think so either. No, I think that Christopher outsmarted him. He thought
Absolutely.
that he would catch Rhea down there in the corner.
And this is great flying by Christopher. You can see why the man went 6-0 yesterday.
Yeah, no, he's...
Well, Rasmus is trying to use him to block, and maybe that pushes him far enough back that he can make the 4K next turn. Once again, the angle is very hard to see, but that rock is probably... So he might have his 4K turn for next turn.
Yeah, if he's...
And what did Christopher do?
Yeah,
He's going that way.
Turning in. Did he actually manage to land just in Arc of Vessery?
It looks like it. Once again, the angle on this camera is slightly off, so it's very hard to see, but
very tight.
It looks like Zenark, but
he's shooting.
He's shooting, so it must be.
Obvious range 1. No
Ouch.
target lock.
So 1 hit.
Yeah, because he put the target lock on here.
Yeah, he did. So that was very, very lucky for Christopher, and also the fact that Rasmus didn't have his dupe to activate. So that was.
He should have. If he had stayed put instead of barrel rolling, maybe he would actually have blocked. That's really.
So the other Razor trying to burn her. Spends the target lock and gets.
Shot in weird range 1.
Looks like that's 4 hits. Not entirely sure.
It's the It's who's shooting now?
I'm not sure really. I thought, he rolled too many. Okay, makes sense then. So he spends a focus and an evade, yada yada yada, evades everything. So even with 4 hits, Riot escapes again. And this was even without the use of the Emperor.
Yeah.
I want those green dice.
It's all symbols on the dice
Absolutely.
and the token.
Riot returning the favor.
But now she's tokenless.
Yeah.
That's 2. Did he use the Emperor?
It looks like it, but he didn't put the coin in, so probably not. But it doesn't matter because Christopher managed to roll enough of 8s. And now the Delta might get.
Shot. There's also raise 3 shot on red, but obstructed.
Yeah, but even if it wasn't obstructed, it would have to go after the Delta because it's into hull, so a lucky crit can really help him here.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
No,
Nothing.
He's not aiming well with
the shuttle.
Yeah.
No. His pilot is not used to actually engaging targets.
Let's see. Yeah, there won't be space for 4K for Christopher's Vessery, so he will have to find another way out. A 3 hard turn, maybe. Yeah, down towards the edge of the corner.
We will probably see Riot do a 3 hard, and the Delta doing a 3 hard. And this could actually be just, 3 hard, 3 hard, 3 hard.
Yeah.
And how much time have you spent so far? We started.
I think they've just played an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay, so we have more or less an hour.
Yeah. So halfway through, nothing dead yet, but a lot of things been.
A lot of potential for death.
Yeah.
But what could be crucial here is the fact that Rasmus has his Lambda now so far into the table that Christopher has the option of getting behind it and just gunning it down.
Yeah, he really needs to get his or Rasmus needs his defenders in to protect it.
Yes. And if that barrel roll with his Vessery took him into a safe K-turn range, then everything is fine.
I think we'll most likely see a hard stop from the shuttle now.
Absolutely.
And then, dependent on whether or not Vessery can be there or there's space for it, it's difficult to see from this angle, but maybe there's room for 4K.
I think there is, but it will be devastating if he tries it and it has to fly off the board.
Because he knows that the asteroid placement, they place them during setup.
Yeah, so he knows
range 5.
And that means that there is room for it.
Yeah.
But
of course, you never know in a game, they can be moved a bit.
Yeah, the ship can, and they are the knobs to take into account as well, and they will count as being off the board, so it's never easy.
The question is if he's going to run the risk, or if he's just going to do the safe thing and do a hard 3 down towards the edge.
Yeah.
And that gives him room to...
That gives him more minimum room for next turns as well.
But he won't be able to because Vessery is blocking him on the 3 turn.
Yeah, he is.
So 3 bank instead of then hard turn next to Arbet.
He's just doing the K turn instead of turning in.
Okay.
I didn't expect that one.
No. So he's deciding to
just turn around and try to re-engage Riot.
And he's actually moving it forward. Okay.
That just shows how much we know.
Yeah, he wants more guns and rear when she comes around for a turn.
Yeah. The question now is, she has to move into the table either with a hard turn or bank. And if the Delta is an indicator, it will probably be bank to do the K turn next turn.
It's a
3K from Riot.
And that's Rasmus's rear moving first.
And we're joined in the studio by Vince Kingston, the head TO of this Copenhagen Regional. You want to say hi to the listeners, Vince?
No.
That was a solid no thank you from Vince. So Vince is only here as moral support, he will not be commentating.
Vince is, apart from TOing the regionals here, he also has to keep an eye on 20-something escalation players playing their hearts out in the side tournament of the regionals.
For those poor sods who didn't make the top cut today.
All right.
So, but he did take the turn into the table there, and that gives him a viable firing solution. Yeah, and now he's switching his target lock. So, as we were expecting,
Let's see.
and this one, it's the hard turn into, and that's been blocked. Absolutely.
He knew that. What? Why is he?
My guess is that he,
He's thinking that maybe he still get an angle on.
maybe getting an angle if he was lucky, but otherwise just saving him from not flying off the table and still giving a bit of turn into the table so he can turn around later. But the problem for him now is that his colonel now will be in a chasing position. And he's losing out shots on that because the next turn really has opened up the whole board for a killing shot on the lambda.
Yeah.
Of course, he probably won't be able to burn it down in one turn, but he can really take a large chunk out of its health if he can get 2 or 3 defenders to fire, concentrate on it.
Yeah, I of course now he gets more firepower into the middle of the table again, but I'm not sure that he shouldn't have done a full stop with the shuttle. Just give it one more round to see where the defenders were going.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think he overcommitted a bit.
What could turn out to be a problem for Christopher here is that he might actually end up sacrificing his colonel. If the shuttle does a hard stop, and Riot takes the bold move over the rock.
Yes, he does a three turn over the rock.
And a 3 turn with the... Then depending on what Christopher does, he might actually end up in 3 firing rounds.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, but taking Weird over the rock.
Yeah, that's insane at this point. But he still, he has the Emperor, so...
Yeah, no, of course it's...
Sometimes, who dares wins. Range 1 shot on the colonel.
Going Weird.
Yes, and he sacrificed a target lock.
A target lock because Vesry doesn't have a shot on it.
Yeah.
None of the Vesry's have. So he has 2 focus and a hit, maybe?
Looks like that could be a crit or a hit.
Yeah.
But I think he's...
So he's palping for crit.
Holy...
And uses his focus.
Yes.
Wow.
So...
okay, he's really intent on... So that's 2, 3.
3.
So a crit.
No, that's just a shield. So...
no, that's... yeah.
Is it the last shield in Christophers? Yes, it is. So now we start with 3 whole. So now we have... no, I was doing that wrong. Fuck it. I have the wrong list here.
Let's see.
But...
no, Vesry was down to 2 shields, so there should be 1 shield left on Vesry.
Yeah, that one too. So 1 shield left on Vesry. And the other Vesry was down to 1 shield, right?
Yeah. I think so. Let's check it for good measure. Yes. No, there were 2 shields on the other Vesry.
Okay. So, and now we missed a lot of the shooting because we had to double check that. But nothing has died yet.
It's also super confusing with all the Vesseries and Riads
and the colonels and
yeah.
So
there's a range 3 shot.
It looks like it from both parties.
Yeah.
But on paper the Delta should get...
No, that's 3 hits from... He takes 2 shields off, right? Yeah,
3 shields off. So now he's starting to bite into the Delta, into the Omicron. And the Emperor is starting to complain about the scratches to his Cadillac. The thing we missed is how much damage Riot did.
Yeah.
think we'll have a reporter go check that out for us. This is going to be a very, very interesting turn because Rasmus has to find a place where he will not have 3 firing arcs on him. And that can be hard.
So Riyadh put 2 into to the shuttle, so the shuttle is off.
Which means
doesn't
that
have any shields left.
It's actually at half points, so at this point, if the game ends right now, Christopher will be the regional champion because he has a half haul now. And as I was just saying before Klaus entered, this will be a crucial turn for Rasmus to avoid having 3 firing. So he has to really, make the absolute right call.
Yeah. And it's actually if the shuttle dies, it's actually not enough that he takes out the delta because the shuttle.
No,
is,
because the shuttle is at 1 point more. It's at 29.
Yeah.
So
he needs to take out Riyadh or Vesely to even the scores.
But as we talked about, the fact that Christopher managed to see the opening and change his target is what puts him in a game-winning position right now. And that's really, really great playing from him.
And as we talked about before, that the fact that Rasmus committed his shuttle, did the one forward, also meant that the delta came into shooting position.
Yes. Even if it was by the barest of margin.
Yeah. He really needs to take out the delta, I think, to just take that firepower out of Christopher's list.
Yes. But 3 defense dice, 1 hit, or 1 evade, 1 focus. It's easier said than done sometimes. But I imagine Rasmus must really be sweating now.
Yeah, and Rasmus Vesely can't even do a 3 hard turn because he bumped last time and
So
Christopher did.
Yeah.
Maybe another bump.
He's pushing the delta into the soft spot. And what we see here is one of the things I really enjoy about X-Wing sportsmanship, that you have your opponent help you move the ship around, and it's not an issue. You wouldn't see that in a game of 40k.
No.
Yeah. So whoever's closest will help out. That's nice.
Is there room for barrel roll to the side for? That would put her in a horrible position for next round, of course.
It would, yes. But it would also put her in a position where she might actually take out that crucial delta.
Yeah.
And the position she's in now, she's absolutely in the way of her own vessel, no matter what he does.
Unless he does a 3 bang. Now I think she's in blocking 3 bang. He's barrel rolling down to the zero.
Makes sense.
Now they're just pushing the ships around.
Yeah. Like drunk maniacs.
She can choose to push for a focus or push for a target lock on the delta maybe.
I would probably push for the focus. No, but she takes the target lock.
That means that he expects to get shots
switching
also
targets
from
again.
Vesely.
So, yeah, but taking the target lock on Vesely, which she shoots after, I'm not sure I understand that.
Did she manage to get into a range 1 shot on the side? Looks
No,
like
this one?
Yeah.
I think it's a range 2 shot. It's
that's probably.
It's not easy to see. But the shuttle is lined up to get killed.
Yeah.
The question now is what happens with Vesely here, and whether or not that target lock will pay off.
If Vesely is doing a hard turn in, just return and a barrel roll. And Christopher's Vesry.
Yes,
We'll
of
probably
course.
see Rasmus Vesry try to complete a 3.
Yeah, but that will fail.
Yeah,
That's a
because,
bump.
yeah, we knew that from the beginning.
But as we talked about before, he just needs the angle to get in there.
Yeah.
And of course, if he still has an angle after the other colonel moves, he can exploit the target lock from the counters.
Oh, he's doing
He's doing a 4K turn. And that makes sense, really. He still has angles of everything.
I don't think he has ARP on the shuttle.
You could be right. Yeah, probably not. But then he has to try to burn the counters, and if he kills the counters, the target lock will go away from for Vessery as well. So
question is whether the delta is in line of fire of both Vessery and Riyadh.
it's absolutely in target of Riyadh, but I'm not sure of the other one.
It's not in range even, most likely.
No. Now we will see Rasmus shoot.
Into Vessery.
Of course,
Reroll
spending the
focuses.
rerolls. We'll get the reroll from the target lock. But that was not enough.
It's 2. He dukes 1.
Yes.
So that's all eyes.
So that's 1 evade, and he spends a focus.
for 3. Oh, he's considering maybe not using his focus, saving the focus.
Could be. But he doesn't need.
No, but he had 1 evade, 2 focus. So if he spends the focus, or if he just spends the evade, he'll still evade the shot.
Yes,
But
it
he's
was.
saving
the focus.
No, he's spending the focus.
Yeah, and he also he has Duke, so it doesn't really make sense. That's range 2 shot in the counters.
But no target locks, no?
No target locks, no focus, so just 3 natural crits.
Yeah, exactly.
1 hit.
One hit,
Yeah.
and there's 1 evade token.
Yeah, so that doesn't really.
And he will not need, he will need it.
Actually,
Yeah, he rolled 2 focus. And,
Yeah. So. But Riot escapes again
yeah.
and is actually in range of the Delta.
There's range 3 from Riyadh and the Delta. Maybe the Delta's choking up.
Yeah.
Now it's just try to steal
3
tokens
eyeballs.
from-
Yeah. Is it eyeballs? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Riot,
so-
was it range 1? No, range 2.
Range 2 shot.
Burning into the hull of the Lambda.
It's 1, 3 hits.
3 hits, spending the focus.
And that's
That
1,
looks like
2.
that one. So he takes 2 damage. 3 hull left on that. And it will now take a. The Lambda will now take a shot at.
It should take a ring, but of course it's totally tokened up. It probably should be Vessery.
Yeah, but that's range 3 instead of 2, so.
But only with 1 evade.
That's true.
And he still hasn't used the Emperor.
No, he hasn't.
But he'll probably save that for the Delta shot.
Yeah, he'll need 2. He's down to 3 hull, so.
Yeah. He could be unlucky and
He could die now. So that's 1 hit. That won't do him any good. Made it. Yes. And now the crucial Delta shot. Will we see a critical direct hit?
range 3.
Oh, it's range 2, right? So 3 hits. And he pouts it. Yes.
So
he gets
down to
2.
1 hull.
2 damage, and none of them are criticals, I think.
No.
Yes, one of them is a critical.
Was a crit. What was the crit?
That's a good question.
And it's a direct hit.
It's a direct hit. Just a minute, just confirming it. Yes, they are trying to show Tuesday, and that is absolutely a direct hit. And that was the game for Christopher. I don't think there's any way he can pull himself out of that bag, Rasmus.
It's going to be very difficult now. he really had, until the shuttle died. It was a matter of which ship he could get out of the game.
Yeah.
Because now he's down both in terms of firepower, but also on points, of course.
And especially on the defensive side.
Yeah. That he really now he needs to choose his target very carefully.
And the problem, of course, is that now Christopher actually can more or less sacrifice his delta purely as a blocker to be in the way and set up kill box.
Just to make it annoying.
But this has been really, really great watching Christopher do this.
Maybe it could be a 3 hard from Vessery, down in the corner, Rasmus Vessery. Yeah, and the 5k from Riyadh, down by Vessery.
You think that three hard will clear the rock?
I think it will clear the rock, and I also
probably.
think that it might still, but of course it could also be that Christopher is going to put the delta, if he does a 3 bank, he'll probably block. On the other hand, Rasmus has very often done the unusual and done a 4k to put him in a bit of a different, but the 4k might actually be blocked by Vessery, by Christopher's Vessery.
I think it is. And you know,
Really,
from Christopher's point of view, it might actually make sense not to do the otherwise more or less automatic 3+ movement, but makes, you know, small
one turn maybe.
One turns or one
bank.
banks, probably one banks to still get modifications.
Yeah.
But he might
I think
actually
you're
be able to set something up there.
Right now,
The
it's
two forward with his counters, and the one bank with his Vessery, and maybe a one bank with the, and that might actually set him up for a really, really aggressive round of shooting.
For any of the, if anyone just arrived at the game, this is the finals of the Copenhagen Regionals 2016-17 with Rasmus and Christopher playing each other out in the final. Christopher having played 3 defenders, a Delta, Riyadh and Colonel Vessery, both on the table. And Rasmus, who just took off his pulp shuttle with collision detector, and a Riyadh and a Colonel Vessery.
And Christopher's doing the hard turning too. Then now the question is whether or not he will barrel roll into
He's going
cock
to barrel
block.
roll in. He's going to barrel roll in.
It would make sense to do.
Yeah, because that would block Vessery's 3 turn.
And probably also block if he's doing a K turn with the. He might actually be in position to block both of them.
I don't think that the Riyadh will do a short K. I think she'll do a long K because she also needs to create get closer to the other Riyadh.
He didn't barrel.
Okay, he's just staying put.
He's seeing something we don't. That's why he's in the fight.
Because he knew that he would do a 3 bank.
So he blocks that one.
That's interesting. Okay. I would not have done that.
Me neither. That was the unexpected move and not in a positive fashion.
That was.
But you know, it's a tough place for Rasmus to be in. He's in a slump. He must feel right now that shit. That move might have cost me the game right before, and he pulled it off. And now he's in a position where he has to do something, and he's just, what the fuck can I do? I'm caught.
If Christopher's Colonel Vessery, who is down in the edge of the board, if he does a 1 bank, I think he will also have a range 1 shot on.
Unless he, of course, bumps that newly arrived Vessery.
Yeah, but he will still have the range 1 shot on Weird. Did he bump or is he
That's
managing?
very hard to distinguish.
So Rasmus is Weird and Vesri side by side on the dark pegs and dark bases. Or is it a 4K?
It's a
Signature
4K.
move.
Yes, of course. The game-winning move by the defenders.
This is really being caught between a rock and a really, really hard place called Colonel Vesri.
Absolutely. So, Colonel Reservoir will have a range one shot at the counters, and the other counters will have a range one shot at the counters.
That could very much be the end of the
This
game
could
we are looking at right here.
absolutely be the last round of the game. At least effectively the last round, because
Unless Rasmus Vesri can get rid of the delta right here now, then
yeah, but he can. No, he bumped that, I think.
no. Ah, yeah, maybe because he didn't
Yeah.
take tokens. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
so-
yeah, so this is a range one shot on.
No, it's
Weird.
actually a range two shot against red.
Oh, yeah. And the tokens saves Weird.
Yes.
Here comes the target lock.
There
on,
is the range one on
Red.
red.
Yeah.
This could be the game ending.
And he only has an evade token. So the Duke will come into effect as well.
Absolutely. There's at least four
That's
hits.
4
I don't know if
hits.
any of them are crits, but we will find out.
He spent his target lock and his focus. There's no pout to save Rear this time around. So
So she has to.
and that's Rear dead.
Absolutely.
That's 3 hits into the hole.
There's nothing to do against that one. So 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
and that's it.
That's
And that was all.
Rear.
I think that was a direct hit as well.
Yeah.
So that's the red.
Yeah, Rear's off the board. Now
And now we see 4 defenders on the table. Unfortunately for Rasmus, he only owns one of them.
But the shooting phase is not even over because now Rear gives a range 1 shot on Vessery.
Yeah.
He has 1 evade, he takes 1 shield off, so he started to 1 shield off. No, or did he not? No, I don't
He
think
didn't show the shield, so I don't
No.
think he took it off.
I don't think he lost shield.
But
Okay.
at this point,
It's almost all but over for Rasmus. Now it's really about minimizing the loss. Can he take up the delta? And
to get the consolation points. So, but you can't really blame anything on the dice here. It's been a very dice-wise even game,
yeah.
and Christopher really made the 2 big decisions that won him the game.
Yeah.
He made the Delta Gambit, sacrificing his Delta to get the riot. It didn't turn out to be a complete loss,
No.
but that was what the setup was.
Yeah.
And it paid off in the end game because Riot went out when she
Yeah.
only had 2 hull left. And then he made the right decision to change types at the exact right moment of the game. And that's those 2 decisions win Christopher the final. Beautiful playing.
Yeah, so what are the options here for Christopher? What's the options for Rasmus and his Vessery?
There really aren't any. The Delta can get in the way, which is good, but if he wants to get a firing solution, all he can do is the 4K.
Yeah, but isn't
And the problem is that theoretically Riot can block the 4K with the. Of course not. She can't really because she's stressed.
no, but isn't it also just a matter of Rhea doing her green K turn, flying the Delta around, and get Vesri back into the mix again for Christopher, and then chase down Rasmus Vesri?
Yeah, it is.
It's really they're just like a wolf pack right now.
He should more or less be able to get 2 firing attacks on that.
Yeah. When you're doing exactly that, he's flying the Delta off. Just get tokens on it, make sure it doesn't die.
And get range of it, so it will be a range 3 shot.
shot,
If it's even in range after the 4K, it might very well be outside of range 3.
With the target lock on for Vesri.
Yeah, and then you'll see a K turn from Carlton's and probably a 3 bang from
That takes
Absolutely.
there, clearing the stress, getting tokens. He'll probably barrel roll to the side if there's room, just to
Yeah, to make sure there's room for the 3
yeah. So,
or
oh no, he should
he
because
should barrel roll just
yeah.
should be sure.
No,
No,
he's putting more
yes.
target locks up. Okay, he's
More
expecting
damage.
him to.
Will it be the? Yes, it will.
He doesn't have.
And
any
that
choice
is the
there.
problem with defenders. Once you've caught it in a hard place, it doesn't really have the maneuver room to wiggle out.
And right now it's just a matter of him, Rasmus, having to rely on dice to push to kill a ship and hope that that will be enough. I mean,
You still have about half an hour, right? So, but it would have to be, a rainbow blessing him right now.
I know, but I don't know, that is not going to be possible. Also because now he loses the advantage of having additional target locks.
Yes.
He's down to 1 evade token, and Vesri,
Yes,
at least he avoided the arc from Weird.
It looks like it, yes.
So
Range
range 2.
2 from the Colonel into the last remaining counters.
That 2 hits.
2 hits. That's
And Duke on
and
one.
Duke on one of them. And then he'll just make the focus. And Riot laughs and lives to fight another day.
But now
And then there's the range 2 shot from the other Visery.
maybe they should have measured the first time around.
There's starting to be a lot of red target locks over there. 3 hits into evade.
Everything
And now as commentators, it's hard to find something really clever to say because
now it's,
this is just the end game.
Yeah.
Rasmus won't be able to turn this around. Rasmus knows it all, but he's being a good sport about it. He knows he's on the stream, and he wants to give his best showing anyway.
But
So
it's the final game when the region.
and you might as well, And theoretically, he can throw 3 crits, and Raya can blank out, and sometimes it happens.
But I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Christopher tie the knot on the back and then
Absolutely.
just finish this. If I was Rasmus, I would probably try and chase down the Delta.
Chase down the Delta, yeah, absolutely.
Don't get into a melee with.
No, you don't want to get into a
Vessery.
gunfight with those 2 ships.
So just do your
And they will be
5.
fully modified in all of their attacks. They have target locks, they will have focuses. It will be
And he's trying to make his arcs as large as possible. So he did a 5k, and there'll probably be a 4k from Vessery. And do you think
That's
that
really-
Rasmus Vessery will do a 5 forward in Belgium maybe?
I think so. Maybe a 4K, but not 5 forward,
He probably won't be able to barrel roll. No, there's not room
That's could be the angle is a little bit weird to see here, but no, he's just
just tokening up, keeping it alive. The 4k from Vessery. Like,
and there's really no good move to Rasmus left. He will be in 2 firing arcs more or less the entire time,
Exactly.
while he tries to score the consolation points from that Delta.
Yeah.
So let's see if it's a range.
It's a range
It's
2.
range.
It looks like
Range 2 by the barest of margins, which is fine. So 3, 1 hit, and it doesn't matter. Even with the Duke,
And now
the
the
Delta.
Delta can do its
a
4k.
4K, and then there will be probably 3
Yeah.
firing arcs in the next turn.
No, that's
Yes.
And all target locks.
Yeah. There will all shots will be modified with both target locks and focus from
It
now
looks
on.
like that was one.
was-
There was duped, so he has to spend both tokens to get three evades.
No, one pushes through. So
Is there
there's
one
a shield.
shield off? So he shields us now.
Yep.
So we're down to Hull. Vessery. Range 3 shot from rear.
Yes.
That's the target lock that came from Vessery.
Yep. Sorry, it's been a long day both yesterday and today.
That's
Three.
four.
No, that was the last
Three.
shield then.
Yeah.
You must have had one.
No,
Yeah.
that was not that.
So now we are to Hull on the Vessery. And the next round will see him facing probably 3 firing arcs, totally modified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you can do is you can do the 3 hard turn to get as close as possible and then try to kill that unkillable Delta
Yeah.
that just doesn't want to die.
And the problem is it's going to be a range 3 shot. It can, at least if the Delta chooses to go 5 straight, or if it does a 4K, it will still be a range
Christopher
3
will
shot.
do a 4K, I think.
yeah.
He wants to put all of the... He knows that the green dice eventually will give
Yeah,
out to the
of course,
power
yeah.
of the red dice.
And it's
So,
so there's going to be a 3 bank from Riyadh, a 3 straight from Vessery.
maybe a 4 straight.
Yeah, maybe a 4 straight. Yeah, that's the 4K.
Yep.
Token out again.
That will be a focus and evade, and it has the target lock from before. 3 bank. Yes. And yeah, focus evade. Already has, doesn't even need to stress. And then the 4 or maybe even 5 forward.
No. Yeah, with
With
Christopher's
with Christopher's.
Yeah,
There was the
because
3
that's
turn.
going to be a range 1 shot.
Yeah, 5 forward.
No. Is it?
Only? No,
No,
it's a
it is
5.
a
It's a 5,
five,
yes.
it's a 5, yeah.
And we'll get the free target lock.
Yeah.
But first, Rasmus will have the chance of burning through that last defender, well, the Holland defender. And that's a range 3 shot. So,
It's 2 focuses and a hit.
no, I think it's a hit and a crit.
It's a hit and a crit. Yeah.
And
Oh, he spends his
spends the
focus,
focus.
even though he knows that.
He knows the game so well, and he's just trying to get the consolation prize.
So that's 2.
So let's see.
1 goes through. What's that? Major explosion followed by directed.
No, that was directed. So it still has 1 hole left. And that, that's one ballsy Delta Squadron pilot. He's promoted for the next game. He doesn't want to die.
And it's 4 hits. Spending the focus.
and-
He has Duke as well, remember?
And
That's
that was the game. So that's a
Congratulations.
very, very well-deserved win for Christopher.
Yeah.
He outplayed his opponent. He made the 2 very, very big decisions at the right points.
Yeah.
That was beautiful to watch. So
Yeah.
a great game by both players, but a really well-deserved win by Christopher.
Yeah. Swedish
So,
Christopher Bengtsson winning the.
The Danish Copenhagen Regional,
Yeah.
but he's a friendly guy and he's always welcome here in Denmark. We're nice to him. We're happy to have him.
Yeah.
But this will be Paul Erik Holmelund signing off with my
Lovely assistant.
lovely assistant, as always, Klaus Stoll, helping in here in the final. It was great having you. It was fun.
Thank you
So
for
it was
having me.
absolutely amazing commentating these 3 matches. So we're signing off from the regional now, and all of you should go to Facebook and wish Christopher a very, very warm congratulations with his Copenhagen Regional.
Yeah.
Thank you for today.
Congratulations.